Hola, friends and family alike. Well, I consider you all family. This video has no specific purpose or topic. It is not theme oriented, and I'm no longer acting director, so it doesn't relate as a compound to the initiative, so to speak. However, it is of course for the initiative and about the initiative. It's just it's a personal thing that I feel I need to do. I'd like to begin by apologizing sincerely for my disheveled appearance. Um, I've I've actively placed myself back into my own personal training, and I've been pushing myself pretty hard past my limitations for maybe 4 days now without any rest. And come to think of it, I haven't eaten anything either. It's kind of pretty much water for me and coffee, um, which has a lot of water in it. So there's that. But um, this training can be pretty rough for a spotter in general. Just spotters worldwide. Training is an everyday thing. It's an ongoing process. There's always something to be learned, something to practice, something to get better at. There's always a way to be improving yourself. The training is an every step sort of thing. But for operatives of the initiative specifically, and other such persons that are in this line of living, this field, this field of inference, uh, we do have our own specific training programs that we adhere to at certain points and from time to time where it's needed, especially if we're learning new things or we see faults in the way that we're living. We need to put ourselves into this process and actively push ourselves. And when we do decidedly enter into this phase, this training process, it's sort of like issuing a challenge to the world, and the world will respond. The world will respond. It will give you what you need. It will give you what you ask for. It will especially give you what you ask for if it's something that you need. If you're willing to put forth the effort to get it, the world will have it waiting for you. You got to overcome the obstacles that are presented. Now, this can be hazardous out there in the streets, especially around here, because on the internet, when we're doing this, when we're negotiating with people, practicing communication, and just trying to recruit people and such, trying to help people in general, always trying to help people. That's what we do. We're not, we're not lying to you. We're never going to be lying to you. That's why we wrote it as a protocol. Protocol 2, do not lie. And we follow that. But out here in the real world, when somebody blocks you, it usually involves them hitting you in the face or somewhere else that hurts a lot. And, of course, as I said, that can become a hazardous, problematic scenario. But the more problematic issue they're at with me specifically and other such persons who have managed to activate and to gain a certain degree of control over the Kundalini impulse, we can't do much about it. You can't fight back. Protocol 1, do not harm. Now, if your life is not in danger, and if you're, generally speaking, if you're an operative, you're going to be aware of what places are a no-go for training. Like areas where people are likely to be carrying guns, packing heat. or places where people disappear a lot. Just, you'll know which places are acceptable for training and which places are absolutely not. So you go to the places that are acceptable, and by acceptable I mean you're probably just gonna get jumped by a few people if something goes wrong. Because a lot of people, for whatever reason, do not take well to you being kind and friendly and honest with them. It's a stigma. It's a really weird kind of a bad dream scenario, but it's happening. A lot of weird shit's happening these days. People are people are losing it, and it sucks. But I'd also like to explain the uh, the stuff here. The glove. First of all, I have a kind of a hobby for making cool clothing. Like I take scraps of old clothing and I patchwork them together and I make cool clothing, usually for women because I think women look, much cooler. Obviously, they're. I mean, sexiness is sexiness. You can't. Some guys are sexy. I consider myself to be somewhat sexy, but um, women are just gorgeous. They're beautiful works of art, and so women's clothing is what I like to make because I think it looks the coolest. But I have a thing for gloves, and I love to just make exceptionally convoluted gloveware. Sometimes, not all the time. Maybe once a month, I'll sit down and make something weird. Which, of course, this is not really anything to be proud of. It's just a bunch of shit put together. But B, it does serve a purpose. It has a function. Part of my training is to keep up with casting because we do deal with casters. On one hand, we have some spellcasting members in the initiative, people who work with spellcraft with magics. And for the onlookers, anyone that watches this that are, against that, particularly religious people, spellcasting is not an inherently evil work. It's just that it's tricky and can become particularly dangerous for people who don't know what they're doing, which is why I have to keep up on it and make sure that I know what I'm doing in case I ever need to use it for any reason. And operatives can use it. We just frown upon it. We don't like it. It's something we try to avoid. We certainly don't endorse it. But we're not gonna fucking out you because you do it. If it's your life's work, if it's your practice, more power to you. In fact, we'd really love to have somebody actually, have like a class teaching it for the initiative. It's something that we've been looking for a while, but for whatever reason, every excellent caster we come across turns out to be a dipshit, dumbass, or a fucking asshole. I'm really sorry, but as I said, I'm no longer the acting director. I don't have to be, super nice and oblige everybody anymore. At least not for now and for a while. Uh, I'm not gonna sugarcoat and baby you guys anymore. You're all of you. I mean, spellcasters, these specific people I'm talking about that I wanted to be teachers, people that some of the foundation members have found that could be teachers, they could have done it very easily and they could have made a lot of progress and you guys could have learned a lot of great shit from them. But they turned out to be really fucking stupid assholes. And they they either ran away or we had to drop them. And it sucks. But we're still working on it. In any case, as I was saying, I personally have to keep up with it because it does evolve. It's an evolving process. We have actually kind of, I won't say mastered it, but we've come to an understanding of it that allows for us to put it in its most basic, simple, fundamental form, which, to continue what I was saying, especially religious people that might be watching this and absolute or totally certain that spellcraft is some evil kind of a power that's granted by demons or whatever, because you think the Bible told you that, which it didn't. The Bible did not tell you that. Who told you that is the people that are teaching you about the Bible, and they do that for two reasons. One, because it's been passed down as a tradition by people who actually knew this was the case long ago, and that I don't believe they know anymore. This line, this tradition of religion, especially the newer religions, have forgotten why they're doing what they're doing, but I guess it boils down to, for the most part, that the people teaching you about these religions, and especially about the Bible and other such scriptures, simply don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't have the first fucking clue as to what they are teaching you. They're just spouting nonsense that's been passed down to them by other people who knew maybe a tad bit more than them, but still not enough to make any use of it. But the whole demons giving people magic powers is bullshit. It's a lie. And the purpose of that lie is to keep you from becoming powerful. They don't want you knowing what you're capable of. These people, they want to control you. Religions are a cult. I'm sorry to say it. I don't have a problem with religious people. I'm not going to hate on them because it's what they do or what they think, what they believe. That's fine. Be who you are, And if you want to endorse a religion or teach a religion, if you want to run your own church, more power to you, man. And if it connects you with your God, and by your God, I mean our God, everybody has the same God. We all just call it something different. And ultimately, it's not even really a God. It just is. It is this. In fact, witchcraft, spellcraft, these things that you think are evil, that's what God is. That is what God really is. You have within you, you in fact are inherently Kamui, Alsi. You are the power of pure creation. You came from nothing. You are able to create from nothing. That power you have, and you use it every day, all day long. In every moment that you're alive, you are actually using that power. You just don't know that you're doing it. Spellcrafting is simply it's a method by which to kind of get a good grip on it and utilize it directively, but it's a very clumsy sort of method, and ultimately it's pointless. I mean, to go through all of these measures, grab all these different ingredients to make tonics and such, which really shouldn't fall into the realm of spellcasting because it's actually alchemy. It's what we do, and that shit's a lot of fun. It works out well all the time. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we live and we learn. But getting like totems and charging them and shit, and all this ridiculous ceremonial whatnot that people go through to cast something is totally unnecessary. I mean, you're doing it when you grab something and make it an ingredient for your spell. You've already done it. You're doing it all the time. It's the power of thought. It's the power of pure creation. It's the power of being. The power of heaven. You can't stop doing it. You have to do it every breath you take, because every breath you take is a part of what it is. Everything you do, you can't escape that. So, again, for all of you out there who like thoroughly believe that witchcraft, spellcasting, that sort of thing is evil, you're doing it too. You just don't know that you're doing it. So ultimately, I guess in your mind, that makes you both evil and stupid. I'm so sorry, but I mean, it's the truth. It is the simple truth. Said the witchcraft and shit, black magic, which is not real. There's never been any black magic. That's bullshit. Fucking myth made up by sci-fi writers and such. But yeah, it's gotten a bad rap because they're bad people. It's the same as anything else. It's gotten a bad reputation because some people have used it to do bad things, damaging, harmful things, and that's just the gist of it. It's not inherently evil in itself. It's the same as any firearm. The gun doesn't kill people. You kill people with it. And if you blame the gun for it, it only makes you a jackass. I mean, you're somebody who's unwilling to accept the responsibility of your actions. And if you're unwilling to accept the responsibility of your actions, you've just forfeited the power you actually have. So be responsible. Take care. Pay attention. Be a real fucking person, for crying out loud. Things have gotten so lax and lazy in this day and age. People just don't even know what they're doing anymore, but they love to think they do and express that. And it can be quite aggravating, and that, is going to bring us back around to where I get myself in trouble a lot when dealing with people in person. But it's something I'm working on. And in any case, one of the very cool things that I love most about magic is that you can actually charge objects, which they call it enchanting, I think, or charming maybe. I forgot now. They changes a lot what they terminology they use, but I think it was enchanting for a while, and pretty much we call it charging because that's what it is. You're kind of implanting an intention into an object. The more complicated an object is, such as a watch with many little pieces, the more effective it can be utilized. And you just pretty much put a charge on these objects and they will serve a certain purpose. They'll perform a function automatically so that you don't have to keep doing it, keep it running in your head, keep feeling it. The object will do that for you if you have effectively programmed it. And again, this is real. This is It's not supernatural, sci-fi jargon. It's simple common nature. It's happening all the time. You're doing it right now. You couldn't possibly be watching this video without casting it, spelling it. You're making it happen. But, I'm not going to go on and on about that. I don't really have the time. Anyways, also the collar. When I started training, myself and a few other people that I engaged with in the community that was, alive and well back then. It was kind of a big thing. It was booming, synchronicity, training, learning about these things that we wish to teach. It was widespread and it was happening all over this place. And myself and a few of the other people who have, a really extreme sense of loyalty and devotion wore collars to denote that they were, in fact, devoted to this, that this practice was something that they were going to keep at consistently, and it was, you know, pretty much designed to be a reminder of that, to keep you in that mindset that you are training. You are a trainee under the great master of the world, and of course, whatever spotter that you have. My spotter, Ariel, She wore a collar from time to time, but she didn't keep it on all the time, and eventually I think she kind of stopped wearing it. She had a thing for simplicity, and she was, my God, she was so impressive. If you could see her, we'd be winning this thing easy. If you ever saw even a small amount of the things she was able to do, this girl could. She played it so well. She was like ahead of everything, at least one step ahead of every single thing that happened, almost as though not even that she anticipated it, but that she had somehow planned it. And that is, of course, where I'm trying to get at. And I'm having some success. I'm able to plot things far in advance. I'm able to cause for events to transpire amongst many people. I'm programming synchronicities. I am capable of causing things to happen for you from here just by being in contact with you. I have that ability, and I am doing that for a lot of you. I'm trying to make, afford you the best possible opportunities and give you, you know, everything you need to grow and to be successful, especially along the lines of what you decide to, take in from this project. So I'm having success in that regard, but I still, there's so much that she was able to do that I just have no idea. I have no clue how she could do it, and she did it with such ease. It was like she didn't even try. It just happened. She would always be like, I mean, if you thought you wanted something, she'd already have it and hand it to you without you even asking. She could she could spotcast you. She could just have you tranced, hypnotized without even like telling you anything. She could just be talking to you and suddenly you snap out of it having learned something, having gained something from it. And I guess some people would consider it invasive to, just hypnotize people left and right, but everything she did was helpful. Everything she did was good and wound up helping people. The only thing that I ever saw her do that hurt somebody was activating the impulse in me, and that was my mistake. I did that. And as I was saying, when you're out there dealing with people in the public, again, we have the protocol: do not harm. And if the Kundalini impulse is activated in you, and you've managed to get a grip on how to use it properly, uh, it's not difficult to wind up hurting somebody if you get in a fight. You have to let it happen. You can't fight back, because I mean, if you as I said, if your life's not in danger, then you can't fight back, because it could be as simple as, you know a little jab, and you could break somebody's head wide open. This impulse is a very, very powerful thing. It is, in fact, a real human superpower, and you can hurt someone really bad accidentally. Just by defending yourself, you can really break someone's shit, maybe even kill them. So, for me specifically, I'm not really allowed to fight back in most cases unless it's a life-threatening situation. And even then, I'm reluctant to. And mind you, when you do activate the impulse, one of the issues that's going to arise in the process of managing it, of getting a grip on it, is anger. And anger is going to rise in you. And the reason for that being that anger is very dangerous and you need to get it out. It's one of the worst things that you can have. Obviously, because it can cause you to harm other people, but more so even because it causes illnesses like cancer. If you think that smoking causes cancer, you're not looking deep enough. Smoking, of course, can be a triggering mechanism. It's a material explanation for the illness being caused, but it is not the cause of the illness by any means. I mean, smoking is just really an excuse that the world has to give so that physicians can understand it, because they're unwilling to accept that emotions do play a part and in fact are the sole cause of all things. That's what time mechanics is trying to get at. The emotional factor involved in creation of everything. It is the battery, it's the charge, it's what gives the energy, it's what makes things happen, and it is in fact what defines what happens. And it is pent up anger that's going to cause you to get cancer. Getting cancer from smoking, it's just an excuse. It's just a material aspect that has to be relied upon. But metaphysically speaking, which is to say, the actual meaning behind it, the first cause, the reason, is that pent up anger. And it can be, grief, sorrow, guilt, but most of all, anger. So the impulse will pull that anger to the surface in order for you to expel it and get rid of it, cleanse yourself. That's what it does. The Kundalini impulse, the first thing it does is it breaks everything that's damaged so that it can heal properly. It clears you, it expels all the toxins, and by toxins I do mean both substance and emotional. All the values that are in you that's causing harm or could potentially cause damage in the future. The impulse will bring it to the surface and cause for you to expel it, and in fact, in some cases, just forcefully expel it from you on its own. Ultimately, the impulse fixes everything for you. It puts you back in factory reset default mode where you are where you should be in a healthy condition in all respects, and then it allows for you to improve and enhance upon that vastly. And by vastly, I mean just exponentially and infinitely. The manner, or the measure by which you can in fact enhance every aspect of yourself is just incomprehensible. I don't see an end in sight. I get stronger every day. I get faster every day. Now that I've learned how to do this properly, I get sharper and faster and more powerful every single day. And I have to thank Ariel for that. Sadly, I only saw her once again, and that was through DreamWorks. I met her in a phantom body, and she gave me a very important message that, in fact, became kind of the motive of the initiative entirely. Which I will share that with you in another video, because again, it's a whole other topic that can fill the 40 minutes I have to speak. But the collar we wear to signify our devotion to training, and I do like to use it as a symbol and a reminder. Sadly, or more unfortunately than sadly, my original awesome blue collar that I actually went out and found and picked out and spent money on. I made the unfortunate mistake of leaving in the care of headquarters, aka the original Skumaden, where my closest comrades and fellow founders have such little care for the things that belong to me that it just almost immediately vanished. They just lost it. I'm sorry to them. I'm not trying to bitch and moan about it or say that you guys are careless, but I am going to state that you have accused me of being an inconsiderate person in the past simply because you were mad at me for needing your help. And I'm sorry, I needed your help. And it was, I was in a really bad position. I had no strength to me. I couldn't do much of anything with myself. And you guys kind of punished me for that. And you said that I was inconsiderate, where in fact I've always done every last little thing I can to be careful with you guys and to care for you and to be loving to you in any way I can. And I'm sorry that I was unable to provide you finances at the time. Honestly, I'm kind of astonished that you took that as such a high stakes regard, considering that I never had to ask you for any money. But we're getting off topic here. I'm just saying I'm very considerate to everybody. It is in fact a fault of mine that I am so considerate. It gets me in a lot of trouble, but I do it anyways because it's important to me. So I thank you for never ever ever saying something like that again, because it's not true, and I don't want you guys giving us a bad rep by lying. So please keep that off your tongues. At any rate, that collar's gone, so this is just a cheap piece of crap that I pulled off an old boot, but it serves its purpose, and I'm wearing it, you know, for my training, just as a kind of a totem, really. And that explains the objects. So let's get to the point of the video. Two, well, one question, two-part question. One two-part question. A, I suppose could be summed up in asking, what exactly the fuck is wrong with you people? I mean, is there something that's like, is there a brick wall that pops up every time you want to do something? Or do you just not want to do anything? Is there some reason why you seem to be unable to, you know, get a fucking grip on what we're trying to do here? I mean, you guys, you're are you too lazy to make a comment, hit a like? You're watching, you chime in. I see that you guys are watching. I have the ability, another ability that's afforded by the impulse, but something that I can train anybody to do very easily. I have this skill set of being able to kind of take a peek here and there and see the web work of energies that are exchanged, and pretty much kind of watch what all of you do if I choose to. And sometimes I have to because it was my job. I had to make sure I knew where everyone was and what they were doing so that I could assure that everybody, uh, you know, were exposed to the things that I needed for them to be exposed to in order to get, this thing going and make advancements. Again, nothing harmful, and never do anything wrong to you guys. Never ever. I love all of you very dearly. I'd never do a thing to harm you. In fact, go press myself as hard as I can, and more so to protect you and to do the best I can to help you. But, as I was saying, I see that you guys are chiming in here, you're watching, you're interested, yet still, no matter how hard I try, no matter what I ask of you, no matter what I push on you, I'm sorry for being pushy, but fuck me. You guys are killing this thing. You're killing me. I mean, I guess you don't really understand. Not obviously so, because I never actually explained it to you. It's something I hoped I would never have to explain. And I guess I will in the following video because I don't have enough time to in this one. But I mean, basically, that part of the question, what the fuck is wrong with you, is it, I don't ever want to hear somebody tell me I don't have the time for it. Because you have the time to post ridiculous nonsense on your own profile. You have the time to sit there looking at other people's profiles. You have the time to watch television shows. You have the time to dick around, surfing the internet. You have a lot of time to spare. All of you, every one of you have a fuck ton of time. And believe me, you have no idea how much time you do actually have. If if you were capable of observing how much time is actually packed into every moment, how many potentialities there are to be made to make use of in every passing minute, and you guys are you're wasting so much time, and ultimately time is the only real currency you have. It money isn't real. It's just not real. It's not a real thing. It's a toy. Money is a bullshit toy. It's useful. It's good to have, of course, because we need it to survive now in this day and age. We need it for anything, but it doesn't make it a real thing. It's just a hoax that's been pulled off very well. Time and value are the only actual currencies that exist. They are the only real thing. And you are taking just like fuck tons of it and tossing it in the trash. Whereas, some of you have expressed that you feel this internet and Facebook and everything is addictive and you need to cut down off of it, which of course you never actually do. You just cut down on this because it's challenging you. And I guess you're just lazy. I don't know. Or you're scared of something. But we're trying to help you with that, man. We're trying to give you power. We're trying to give you real power, control of your own free will. We're trying to show you the real world, a whole new kind of living that is extremely engaging and extremely uh, rewarding. Watching cat videos may make you laugh, perk you up for a few minutes, give you that chemical reaction. But time mechanics can teach you how to do that without the need of a video anytime you want to and make it last. This project is, in fact, here to enhance the entire world and, actually save it, which, again, we'll get to that. I'm really reluctant to share that piece of information. I've shared it with a few of the directive members, but I'm going to have to give it to all of you now because you're driving me fucking nuts here. You gotta wake up. You do something. Be something. Give a little love to the world. And try out a different outfit and see what happens. Crying out loud, give it a shot at least. Don't be a scared, like a comedian that's afraid to get on stage because people might not laugh at him. Who gives a shit? Are they you? Do you need to care about that? And if so, yes, they are you. Everyone's you. If you believe that, that's all the more reason to get active here. Anyways, second part of the question am I doing something wrong? And for fuck's sake, please respond. Don't be silent. Don't just fucking watch this and then say nothing. I don't know why you would do that, but you always do. Give me some feedback here. If I am doing something wrong, I need for you to tell me that so that I can alter it, so that I can improve. This has to succeed. If the initiative fails, we are all fucked. And I'm not bullshitting you. We need this to succeed. On one hand, we can improve everything. Life itself can evolve and become something so much more astounding and wonderful and easy and free. Just we have a whole paradise that we can just kind of have, take notice of. It's already there. We already built it for you. On the other hand, if it doesn't succeed, that paradise is gone. And so is every fucking single one of us. So please, if I'm doing something wrong, I need you to actually tell me. I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm going to be very happy you did. That's all the time I have. Kila Salai. Namaste.